We're here to give you the latest update on the abduction case involving Khayr and Kassan. At approximately 2 p.m., Nala Jackson was taken into custody in Indianapolis by Indianapolis Metro Police, and she was positively identified by Indianapolis Metro Police and the FBI. This occurred after receiving several tips that she was in the Indianapolis area. At this moment, she is being questioned by the police. However, Kassan Thomas was not with her at the time of her arrest. We want to again thank our partners for all their help in this case thus far and their continuous efforts to locate Kassan. Our officers, detectives, sergeants, lieutenants, and commanders have been working around the clock since Khayr and Kassan went missing late Monday night. Again, we will not stop until we find Kassan. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for the safe return of Kassan. If you know anything about his whereabouts, please call our tip line at 614-645-4701 or 1-800-CALL-FBI. We are relieved to have located the suspect, and it takes us one step closer to locating Kassan. But we will not stop searching until he is brought home safely. I'm going to ask Deputy Chief Ware to step up to provide more details about the arrest and the timeline that led up to the arrest. Reminder, this is an ongoing investigation, so there will be some information we cannot provide at this time. We will provide the best information that we can. Thank you.
Good evening. Over the past 12 to 24 hours, our officers have followed up and received over 3 dozen tips from community members, both locally here in Columbus and Central Ohio and throughout the state. Overnight, they responded to those tips. They followed up. They interviewed people. They tried to retrieve video of reported sightings. They talked to numerous individuals in the community. When we received tips from jurisdictions outside of Central Ohio, officers relayed those to the jurisdiction in charge of that area, and they were able to follow up in that manner. This morning, late this morning, on our hotline, the 645-4701 number that we provided to the community, we received several calls generated from Indiana from some individuals who were relaying concerns or information that they believed that they had spotted Nala in Indianapolis. Our officer detective was able to corroborate some of that information. At a certain point during that discussion, they believed that it became more of an emergency situation in terms of a current ongoing. They were witnessing Miss Jackson, in person at that time. At that time, our detective implored those individuals to call 911 in Indiana and ask for IMPD to respond immediately. Over the course of the next several hours, it was an ongoing. We know that IMPD was responding. We received word at approximately 2 p.m. that they had an individual stopped that they believed to be Miss Jackson. Over the course of the next hour or so, our detectives worked with IMPD to try to corroborate that and her identity. She was positively identified through fingerprints as Nala Jackson and taken into custody. At this time, like Chief Bryant said, Kassan Thomas has not been located. We are imploring the community in Central Ohio, in the greater Dayton area, and in the greater Indianapolis area. If you have any information regarding this crime or the whereabouts of the baby, please contact us as soon as possible. 3 detectives from Columbus Division of Police are en route to Indianapolis as we speak. They will be coordinating with IMPD and the FBI to further this investigation. The Ohio State Highway Patrol has information, the current information to update the Amber Alert locally in Ohio, and the state of Indiana has information, and they are working on extending that Amber Alert into the state of Indiana with information. We're asking for information to locate the vehicle and for Kassan Thomas. And that's the update from us. Chief Bryant?
We'll take any questions.
Has Ms. Jackson said anything to investigators in Indianapolis as to where the child is? Did she bring the child with her to Indianapolis? Has she been saying?
We don't have that information. She's being currently questioned.
How would you describe her mental state or how she's responding to being arrested?
We have not laid eyes on her personally. Again, she's in Indianapolis, so we don't have that information.
Have you guys been able to find out if somebody was helping her in Indy, kind of, hiding her out for the last few days?
We're hopeful to find all that out. This is really very fresh and very new for us. We wanted to get that information out as soon as possible, but at this point, we don't have any additional information.
I understand that she may have been located some sort of drug house. Is that the case? Was she located some sort of place where substances were being used?
That is not where she was taken into custody.
Or was she taken into custody?
My understanding is it was on the street. Yes.
Downtown or a certain neighborhood?
I'm not sure about the actual location in Indianapolis.
Yesterday, you talked about trying to get in touch with her family, and that still hadn't happened yet. Has that since happened, and has that led to anything?
No, unfortunately, it has not happened. We were not able to get in touch with her family and be able to have that connection that we were looking for.
Are they uncooperative, or is it like they're just challenging to reach?
I'm going to let Deputy Chief Ware answer that question.
Yeah, I believe it's more just the challenge to reach, and whether, we have the correct information, whether we have updated phone numbers or addresses. I just, at this time, I know that we made a concerted effort to reach out to locate the mother, and, at this time, we haven't been able to do so. But we don't believe that she's necessarily trying to avoid us. However, we haven't been able to reach her.
Any reason
ties?
to
Does she have
believe
any
that?
ties to Indy?
Not that we know of right now.
Any reason to believe that Kasan is in Indianapolis or still in Columbus?
We're not taking anything off the table, which is why we're continuing to work with our partners, FBI, as well as Indianapolis Metro Police. We don't know at this point where Kasan is. That's why we're imploring the public, anyone, as little of information as you may think it is, it could be important. If you saw someone with a baby, if you saw a baby carriage on the street, whatever you may have seen, please call the tip line or please call 1-800-CALL-FBI so that we can get that information and try to vet it.
And what about the car? Was that found in Indy? Do you know where that is?
We do not know the location of the car at this time.
Or the last time it was seen, the last time you told us it was in Huber Heights when it was seen on the video. Any idea if it was in Dayton, in Indy, Indianapolis, Indiana?
We don't know. The last location that we saw the car was where we told you. So we don't have any additional information.
How concerning is it? Obviously, we've been talking the last few days about this, winter storm we have coming. She's been discovered, but the baby hasn't. Just for you guys, just personally, how concerning is it that this baby still hasn't been found at this point?
It's very concerning, which is why we're imploring anyone that may have any information. If she dropped a baby off, or if somebody is at someone's home and they've never seen a baby before, and all of a sudden there's a baby there, any information that they can give us, regardless of how small or insignificant someone may think it is, could lead to us actually locating Kasan. So we're asking, please give us a call.
These tips that came in, they were anonymous tips, they people that knew her, that said she was in Indianapolis, that pointed you to Indianapolis.
There were several tips from people that I don't believe they knew her. They were people that saw or heard about the information, whether it was through social media, whether it was on the news, that believed that they located her.
And there's been large search parties being organized by various organizations of the family. Is this something that you want it to happen, that large canvassing effort by the community?
Well, it never hurts when anyone is involved in trying to especially locate a missing child. So we appreciate the community's efforts. We appreciate all law enforcement efforts to try to locate Kasan and bring him home. So we would never say that you shouldn't convene a search party because they may provide valuable information. So we've been very appreciative of the public's ability to step up and help us try to find this baby.
Was Jackson with anyone else when she was arrested? Was she in a car, just walking on the streets? What are some of the information around what happened there?
So what I will tell you is, at this point, there are certain things that we're not going to discuss for the preservation of the investigation. We do know that she was taken into custody. As you know, we've been very transparent in doing briefings. As soon as we're able to give more information, we will provide that.
Can you talk about what the conversation may have been like with Kasan's parents after hearing maybe or giving them this information?
I will let Assistant Chief Bacher step up and answer that question for you.
Sure. We thought it was really important when we had confirmed that our suspect was in custody in Indianapolis to let the family know about that. I had a conversation with both mom and dad to let them know that we did have Miss Jackson in custody and that their child was not with her.
With her being arrested in Indiana, are they allowed to issue an Amber Alert in Indiana now for the child?
They are. Deputy Chief Weir mentioned that briefly, and that process was begun. If you were here yesterday, OSP explained that process and how that works. That process was begun once we confirmed that she was in custody. Obviously, we have corroborative evidence that she was in a different state, which allows us to put out an Amber Alert in that state, and that process has begun.
How does this change or factor into the equation of whether this is a federal investigation or how federal investigators may take a role in this?
Absolutely. Now that she has crossed state lines, it absolutely can be a federal investigation, so,
Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Sorry.
Anybody want that screen still up?